Okay, so today is going to be about bar graphs. We're going to take a pictograph and turn it into a bar graph. Let's look at this pictograph. Okay, the title is favorite pizza topping. I'm already hungry. Okay, oh, well this doesn't make me as hungry when I look at the toppings. I do love broccoli, but not on pizza. Okay, so the choices were broccoli, mushrooms, peppers. I do love mushrooms on pizza though. And then each square equals 2 votes. Before I do anything, I'm going to have to count and see how many. Okay, so we're counting by 2s. I want to touch and I want to hear you count with me. Ready? 2, 4. Okay, so 4 people voted for broccoli. Now I noticed something about that one. That one's not a full square. That one's a half. So what is half of 2? Right, half of 2 is 1, so that one's only worth 1. So let's count. Ready? Count by 2s. 2, 4, 6. What is 6 plus 1? 7. Okay, so 7 people voted for mushrooms. All right, and finally pepper. I don't have any halves, so I can just count by 2s. Count with me. Ready? 2, 4, 6. Okay, now let's turn this information into a bar graph. I like their title. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Favorite pizza topping. Remember, just like the title of a book, they need capital letters. Now I need my labels, which are broccoli, mushrooms, and peppers. Whoops. Let's see if I can lift you here. Broccoli, mushrooms, and peppers. Okay, now I don't have 6 boxes, so I'm probably going to have these stand for... I'm probably going to have to count by 2s, right? So this would be 0 right here. This bar would be 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay? So these are the number of votes. I'm going to have to turn this sideways and write, and these are the labels. Okay, now we can fill in our chart. Let me grab a marker that would be easier to color with. Okay, so broccoli. Aw, man, I don't know where my markers are. Let me grab this one for green. Broccoli's green. So, okay, so notice that it's going this way, right? This is called a horizontal bar graph, because the bars are going to go horizontally, side to side. Okay, so here's broccoli, and broccoli got 4. So I want broccoli to go up to this line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is draw a line, draw a box, really. Okay, and now I'm going to color in. Okay, that got glitchy on me. So I've colored in my broccoli to 4 because that's how many votes it got. Now mushroom got 7. Let's see, I don't think I have a brown marker that would work for mushroom. Let's go ahead and do blue. Okay, so now I'm going to have to think about this for a second because this is not a counting by 2's number. So it would go 2, 4, 6. But it's going to have to go halfway between 7 and 8. What number would... whoops, I said the answer. It's going to have to go between 6 and 8, which would be 7, right? So I make my little mark there. Now I make my little bar. Color it in. Now, I want your word to be neat. I don't have time to just color it in and make sure that it's all perfect. Okay, because you don't want to sit here for 30 minutes while I color. All right. right, and then Peppers got 6 votes. That is accounting by 2's numbers. 2, 4, 6 ends right there. Right. Okay. So that is all there is to it to making a bar graph. Now, let's just look at the information and see which topping is the most popular. Right, mushrooms. Now, you really have to make sure that you know where your number of votes or make sure that the number of whatever it is you're counting goes with the numbers. Okay, because in the past when I taught 2nd grade, I have had people put broccoli, mushrooms, and peppers. I've had them call those numbers. Are those numbers? No, they're not. They're labels or toppings. I would count that correct too. Okay, let's look at some more. Okay, so we're making bar graphs. Here we have a tally chart, and we're going to have to use this information to fill in a bar graph. But first, let's read it. Let's unlock it and see what we're trying to do. Jordan took a survey of his classmates' favorite team sport. Okay, that's the title, favorite team sport. He recorded, which means wrote down. He recorded the results in the table at the right. How can he show the results in a bar graph? Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to count my tallies and see. First of all, before I do that, let's do something else. I noticed that my labels are soccer, basketball, baseball, and football. And so these would be the number of votes, right? Because these are how many people voted. So we've got 5, 10, 11, 12 for soccer. We've got 4 for basketball, 5, 10, 14 for baseball, and then 5 plus 4 is 9 for football. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put our title. And I like the title he put there, favorite team sports. Okay, and I'm going to keep telling you, just like a book title, the title of a graph needs capital letters. Okay, now let's look because we got to figure out what's going to go where. So these look like the labels. Okay, so I'm going to turn that sideways. You might be creative enough to write it without turning it sideways, but I cannot. And then these are where our numbers are going to go. Numbers of what? What are they counting? Okay, well, I'm guessing they're votes because goodness gracious, my chart is glitchy. Okay, so number of votes is what I'm thinking because they voted for the sports. Okay, now soccer is my first label. It looks like this is going horizontally, so my amounts are going to have to go this way. Basketball. My next label is baseball. And finally, football. Okay, now, before I make any marks, I'm going to just kind of count in my head. This would be 0. And my biggest number is 14. So I don't think I have 14. Let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. So I'm going to have to count by something more than 1. Let's see if we can do 2s. Because remember, 14 is our biggest number. So this would be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yes, that will work. So 0 is here because this line is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so soccer got 12. Let me make soccer a different color. Let's do soccer red. Okay, so here's 12. I go up to where soccer would be, and I make my little mark there. Now I'm going to draw my bar graph, which is making a rectangle basically, and then just filling it in. You're not going to use crayons. The only reason I'm using colors is to help make it be a little bit easier to see while I'm teaching. Okay, so basketball. Oh, goodness. Basketball wasn't very popular. They must not be at Howe. Okay, so basketball got 4. So I'm going to go out here to the 4 line. Right here. Go up to basketball. And I'm going to make a rectangle there. Color it in. Next is baseball. We'll have baseball be blue. Baseball was the most popular. And it goes to 14. So let's see. Here's my 14 line. So I'm going to make a line right there. Okay. Connect it. Color it in. Again, you're just going to use pencil because pencil will erase. And finally, football. Uh-oh, football got 9. And 9 is not an even number. 8 would be here, and here's 10. So where's 9 going to go? Right. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it would go in the middle there. And fill it in. Okay, so there I have my bar graph. That's full of my labels, my votes in this case, and my team sports. Which was the most popular? Well, baseball. Which was the least popular? Surprisingly, basketball. Let's look at another problem. It says, Matt's school is having a walkathon to raise money for the school library. Matt made a picture graph to show the number of miles some students walked. Make a bar graph of Matt's data. Use a scale of 0 to blank and mark the scale by blank. Okay, well, let's look at it. Okay, so we've got the title is School Walkathon. Our key says each shirt is 2, so we're going to count by 2s. If it's a half a shirt, how much is it worth? 1, right? But let's count and see how many Sam has. He has all full shirts. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Uh-oh, Matt has a half shirt. So we're going to have to stop after we count these and add 1, 2, 4, 5. Oh, Ben only got 1, 2. And let's count Erica's. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, now before I can answer this, I gotta see. Okay, now look at these. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4 people, right? And so I know my people have to go down here. Right? Because there's a whole lot more, right? If I wrote Sam, Matt, Ben, Erica here, I would know I was wrong because I'd have a whole bunch more. So this is where my numbers are going to go. Let's go ahead and write down the title. School Walkathon. All capital letters except for sometimes N, V, and A. Okay, now we're going to fill in our people. Remember, we said our people go down here. We've got Sam, Matt, Ben, and Erica. Okay, so our first number is going to be 0 because this line is 0. Now, my biggest number is 10, but I don't think there are 10 here. Let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there are not. So, can we do it by twos? Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We can. Okay, so it's going to be 0 to 12. That's what our scale is going to go to. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And mark the scale by twos. That just means count by twos. All right, now let's fill it in. Sam got 10. Okay. Oh, miles. So I need to write miles here. Number, not of votes this time, of miles. And it'll tell you what you're counting in the key, number of miles. All right, so Sam got 10. So here's the 10 line right here. So I'm going to make a mark right there. I'm going to make a rectangle for Sam. And I'm going to fill it in. You're going to fill it in so much more nicely than I am because you don't want to watch me color all day. Okay, next is Matt. Matt had 5, so we're going to have to do some thinking here. So here's 4, but here's 6. So where would 5 go? Right, it's going to go, if I had a line for 5, it would be about right there in the middle of 4 and 6. So Matt's would look like this. Okay, Ben. Oh, poor Ben. He only got 2 miles done. So here's my line for 2. Color that in. Maybe he wasn't feeling well that day, or maybe he didn't have enough time. All right, and then Erica got 8. So here's my line for 8. I'm going to go over to where it says Erica. I'm going to make a mark right there on my 8 line. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle. And color it in. Again, yours will be so much neater than mine. Okay, now we're going to answer some questions. Now our bar graphs are going vertically, which means up and down. So, which student walked the most miles? Who? How did you know that? Right. Sam's bar is the tallest. He walked 10 miles. So Sam walked the most miles. You're good at this already. Okay, so the next one says, how many more? That means a subtraction sentence. How many more miles would Matt have to walk to equal the number of miles Erica walked? Okay, so how much did Erica walk? Erica walked 8. How many more means a subtraction sentence? So 8, and how many miles did Matt walk? 5. Okay, so 8 minus 5 equals 3. So he would have to walk 3 more miles to equal how much Erica walked. How many miles did the students walk? Okay, so you can do one of 2 things. You can add these up, right? 10 plus 5 plus 2 plus 8. But I'm actually going to go up here because we have them written here. And I see some things I can do. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. Plus 5 is 25. So they walked 25 miles all together. Okay, now write the number of miles the students walked in order from greatest to least. So we're doing miles. When I first looked at that, I thought we were going to say, okay, so Sam, Erica, Matt, Ben, but it says miles. So we're actually going to put the numbers. What's the biggest number up here? Right, 10. So we're going to start with that. Remember, our semicolon means stop. Okay, and then Erica is 8. Okay, now out of 5 and 2, which one's bigger? 5 and 2. You have to really pay attention to what it is they're asking you for. Okay, now if you're good and you're ready to start working, you may start working. But if you need more, I'm going to create a part 2 of this video. All right, may the force be with you, or you can watch part 2 if you need to see some more.